Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're just going to give a minute to let everyone who registered join on the call, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Bea Makikau. I'm the interim director of the Cross-Cultural Centers, and we're so excited to host you all virtually today. As a reminder, you can use the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen to ask any questions during the panel, and we'll have a facilitated Q&A at the end. This session is also being recorded, so you'll be able to access it in the future if you'd like to revisit any of the information you learned today. Today's panel is centered on first-generation student experience. This panel of individuals represent some of the many resources available to first-gen students at Cal Poly on our campus. We also have current first-generation Cal Poly students who are here and are willing to share their experiences and insights on their time navigating Cal Poly. And we're all going to be here as resources to answer any questions that you may have during our time here. I'm particularly passionate about this panel because I myself am a first-generation Latina student currently pursuing my doctorate degree. Some facts that we know about first-generation college students are that they are large and a diverse population. First-generation students are more likely to be students of color, non-traditional students, and are more likely to have traits of resiliency, self-efficacy, and high levels of responsibility. So we're really excited to host you all today and talk about the first-generation experience. Now that we have a brief introduction on the panel and its purpose, I'd like to ask our panelists to introduce themselves. So if the staff on the panel can share your name, your pronoun, your role on campus, and if you identify as a first-generation student, and if our student panelists can share your name, your pronouns, your hometown, and your major and year. So if Jamie, you want to start for our staff.
Yes, good afternoon. Welcome. My name is Dr. Jamie Patton. My preferred pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm humbled to serve as the Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs with a focus on diversity and inclusion. I won't be with you long today, but I welcome you to the Mustang family. First generation Mustangs is another place that's near and dear to my heart, as I'm a first generation college student who was raised in a large city, the large city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Where I went to a school much like Cal Poly, where it was several hours away from home. And I really didn't have the wherewithal and all of the resources that I needed that some of my peers had when they went to, when they were starting their undergraduate career. But I'm here serving Cal Poly in this community because I still care students. I care about our first gen students. As you are, again, as Bea talked about, you're resilient, you're diverse, and you belong here at Cal Poly. So know that there are resources. I'm a resource that is out there. The panel today, can't wait to hear our student stories. But again, know that Cal Poly, we will do our best, our very best, to make sure that you feel welcome and you have all the resources that you need. I just encourage you to ask the questions. If you don't know, ask questions, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's out of the classroom. Know that you belong here, and we're going to see and do everything that we can to help you succeed.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Nuri Martínez. I am an Educational Opportunity Program Counselor. I'm a two-time alumni at Cal Poly. I did both my undergrad and grad work at Poly, so I'm a proud Mustang, and I'm excited and hopefully get to meet all of you. I also identify as first generation. I actually was a dreamer myself too, so navigating Cal Poly as a first gen and undocumented student was challenging, but I'm happy to see all of the resources now here on campus to support our students. And I'm here as well as a resource to continue to support you. I love working with our first gen population. You all inspire me each day. It's what motivates me to come to work every day is getting to connect with all of you. So once again, welcome, and I hope to meet all of you.
What's going on, everybody? First of all, I just want to say I hope you and your families are healthy and safe during these uncertain times. And I also want to congratulate you on being admitted to Cal Poly. My name is Darwin Witten. I'm a third-year lead academic advisor in the Mustangs Success Center. I work with the Cal Poly Scholars Program, primarily advising first and second year scholars. I'm also a part-time lecturer, as I have taught a University 100 first-year success seminar course during the fall quarter here at Cal Poly. I'm also an alum of Cal Poly. I came here in 2004 on a basketball scholarship, and I graduated in 2008. And I do identify as a first gen. And I'm just looking forward to answering any questions you may have.
Hi, everybody. My name is Christina. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm originally from Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and I'm a second-year business major.
Hello, everybody. My name is Luis Lopez. My pronouns are he, him, is. My hometown is actually Santa Maria, which is about 30 minutes south of San Luis Obispo. And my major is psychology with a minor in child development. And I'm a fourth year, so this is my last quarter here at Cal Poly.
Hi, everybody. My name is Maya May. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am a third-year ethnic studies major, and I'm from Chatsworth, which is in the San Fernando Valley area, or like larger LA County area. And I do identify, I am a first-gen student, and I'm also EOP.
Hello, everyone. My name is Luis Blanco, pronouns he, him, and his. I'm a second-year Cal Poly student, double majoring in construction management and business. And I'm from California, which I am right now for the quarantine, which is a small town in the Central Valley. So, and I'm also part of EOP, like Maya.
Hi, my name is Angelica Macalista. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and Sha. Sha is from the Philippines. It's a genderless pronoun. I am from Salinas, California. It's about 2 hours north from Cal Poly, and I am double majoring in animal science and ethnic studies, and I am a fourth year.
Awesome. Thank you all. As you all can see, we have an incredible group of panelists today for you. So I'd like to ask our student panelists if you could tell us a little bit more about your transition to college and what that was like for you, maybe some of your highs and lows, and how you navigated that.
For me, I think the transition to college was fairly smooth. I moved from Wisconsin to California in my junior year of high school to get a chance at getting in-state tuition. So that move prepared me for college. It's really hard to get out of your comfort zone, especially if I consider myself as an introvert. But doing it in high school, making friends and finding my place at an organization, since I've done that once before, definitely gave me the courage and the confidence that I needed to transition easily into a different environment.
Hi, so transitioning from college. Right after high school, I went to community college, and from this, it was fairly difficult being a first generation student. You really have to go out there and find your own resources. And thank you to the mentors and the access of resources on campus. I was able to apply and get into the schools that I wanted to. And obviously, I'm here at Cal Poly, so it worked out in the end. It is a little stressing, and sometimes you might feel like you have a lack of support from direct family members, but in the end, I took it as a learning process. I learned to really find my way out there, find the resources, and really took matters into my own hands. And in the end, it worked out. And so, yeah.
So my transition to college was kind of, I wouldn't say it's untraditional, but it was a little weird. I had come to Cal Poly during the summer as a part of Summer Institute, which is a program that EOP does. And that really helped me. I was able to take a class, so I was able to come in with like a 4.0, which was nice, didn't last long. But and the EOP and Summer Institute helped me like kind of make some friends before coming to Cal Poly, before it officially started. So that was amazing. That really helped my transition into college. Actually, my first quarter at Cal Poly, I had to go home for family reasons. So I actually didn't like really start my journey at Cal Poly until the winter quarter. So I was kind of coming in feeling as though I was already behind. And I was like, okay, I met these people during SI, but I wasn't sure if like they had already formed their groups. But I was really thankful for SI because, you know, right when I came back to school, I reached out to those friends that I had made, and they welcomed me in. And through the support of like Dean of Students and the EOP counselors, I was able to like not feel as if I was behind, and I was able to get the classes that I needed. And I would say because of those resources, I had a fairly smooth transition, not without its bumps though. But I mean, that's gonna happen regardless. And I'm just thankful that I had the proper resources to get me through it.
So very similar story to Maya, as we're both part of EOP, and I also did Summer Institute. Again, like she explained, it's a summer program that EOP offers, and that made the transition easier for me compared to my other peers. Basically, I already had a family coming into like the actual first quarter of college, and the cool thing about my year is that EOP actually it was their first year establishing a learning and living community. So we were all housed under one hall. Mixed with EOP students, Cal Poly scholars, and TRIO achievers. So just basically like-minded people in the same hall. That definitely made it easier for me because coming into college, most but not all of you will get hit with culture shock. That's something that it's a reality in college. Coming in college, especially at Cal Poly, which is a predominantly white institution, but programs like EOP, the Summer Institute, and the Learning Living community helped me out with my ease into college.
For me, going into college, I was like very unfamiliar with the whole process, and like thankfully, I had a few like high school counselors that like helped me with like financial aid and stuff. But in 2016, like the year I was going to come into Cal Poly, there's this program called Multicultural Weekend, and that's how I was introduced to like actual students that come to Cal Poly, and I see some snaps, shout out, and like resources that these students actually use, and what it's like to be in classes where you might be one of the only people of color, but how they give affirmation to each other, and that like telling each other that they deserve to be there, and just really building that sense of community. And it was very helpful. And I'm talking about Polycultural Weekend. Although it's not physically happening this year, there's a team working to showcase the resources and the communities that would have been present there during that weekend. And I can plug it in the chat box. There's Cal Poly's official website, and the team is working on creating a more student-oriented website, which is all detailed out there. And but yeah, I'm very thankful for that, and that I was introduced to such a thing, and that students were out there wanting to create this community for support for incoming students.
Thank you. We are getting some amazing questions, and we'll work to answer them in the chat box, but we'll also answer any unanswered questions at the end of the panel discussion. So thank you. Keep the questions coming. My next question for our student panelists is if you could talk a little bit about how you decided on what major to choose. If you could do it all over again, would you choose the same major? Why or why not? And maybe if any of you changed your major, because I know that's a big topic of discussion we hear from prospective students about whether or not that's possible, and just maybe what your learning experience was like in your particular major.
So coming into college, I didn't really know what I wanted to major. I started off as an art major, and I ended up switching that up into a photography major. And then I switched that, right before I switched it again, I was debating whether to go with psychology or English. And so something to take into account is if you're going to end up doing something for the rest of your life, it has to be something that you're going to genuinely enjoy. And so with English, there was a lot of possibility, but there was also psychology fascinated me too. And so in the end, I ended up going with psychology. And it wasn't until maybe around the end of the second year of being in community college that I finally was able to like, okay, you know what? I really want to do psychology. I want to pursue this. With that in mind, I applied to Cal Poly. I got in, and even up until my third year, I really didn't know what specific route to take with psychology. Did I want to pursue my higher education, my master's degree? Did I want to go for a doctorate? And so part of this process is I took courses. I went to resource centers. I went to the career center, and I asked if I were to pursue a specific pathway, what are the steps to take? And so it's really about finding those resources, and then self-discovery as well. It's you get that after being in school for so long. You finally realize like what you like and what you don't. And would I do it all over again? It was a little stressful, but I mean, in the end, it's really fun to just like understand yourself, understand what you like. I know I really like communicating with people. I know I really like I really want to help out people, and I think that was the main reason why I decided to go for counseling and then therapy and pursue my master's degree in that. But yeah, if I were to do it all over again, I would hope that I would have found, how do I say it? I wish I would have known sooner that psychology and pursuing my master's in licensed marriage family therapy. I wish I knew that sooner, but yes, I would do it all over again if I could.
So I actually came into Cal Poly as an animal science major. I was on the pre-vet track. I was animal science for the first 2 years actually until I switched my major to ethnic studies. So I completely moved out of the STEM field. And I asked myself this a lot. I was like, oh, like I wish I would have switched earlier because then I might have had time to possibly double major or pick up more minors. But like after looking back and reflecting, I think they can't take knowledge away from you. I had an amazing time in my animal science labs because Cal Poly is learn by doing, and they were very hands-on. I love the knowledge that I learned from those classes and the skills, and I think that coming from that STEM focus, it changes the way that I approach problems. And for that reason, regardless of switching into ethnic studies, I don't think I would change the major I came in with, because I needed to come in with that wrong major, quote unquote, to find out what I'm passionate about, to find out what I want to do for the rest of my life. And yeah, so I don't think I would change that at all. And I also want to say for first gen students, sometimes when you compare yourself to other students, a lot of people had already come in with so many AP courses, or they had gone to community college during high school and they had come in with a bunch of credits, and they were like, oh, I'm going to graduate in 3 years, or they had already planned on working on their within their parents' businesses when they went back. And so I think not comparing yourself to other people, and not worrying about if you do end up changing your majors, or if you do take a little bit longer, 5-6 years, however long it takes, your path is your own. And don't compare yourself to other people, because you don't know the resources, or their story is their own and yours is also your own. In regards to whether it was easy or not to switch my major, coming out from STEM into the humanities, it was, I would say, fairly easy. Also, the ethnic studies department is amazing, and so they really help with that transition. But I know many other people who have changed their major, and they've been able to do it. I know someone who changed their major 3 or 4 times. So it is possible. And it was between STEM, humanities, and and vice versa. So it is possible. It just takes some time. So just try not to feel too rushed during your college experience. But I would still go to Cal Poly, and I would still pick the same major coming in with. And then switching, everything the same.
So the question is, how would you decide on what major to choose? So basically, applying to college, I basically based off a major on my own personality, and that's what many of y'all should focus on. That study this major, and later on, once you post graduation after you go off into your careers is something that you want to do. So basing it off of like my sports, the clubs I was in, and just the classes I've taken, I really wanted to get more into leadership, and business was the natural way to go. My last semester for high school, I started like a wood shop class for my high school that they offered, and I really liked that aspect of carpentry. Sorry, I can't speak right now. But so I came into Cal Poly as a business major, and I tried out some construction management courses, and I really liked it. So I'm lucky enough where that classes for both business and construction management sometimes double count for both curriculums. So that's why I'm able to double major, and it's like all the pieces fell naturally together because business is a nice complement towards construction management. If I were to do it all over again, I think I would go with either major, business or construction management, based off my experience. So that's my story.
So I came into Cal Poly as an animal science major, and I added ethnic studies towards the end of, or towards the middle, or in the middle of my third year. I chose animal science because I grew up with agriculture all around me. Like my grandfather was an animal inspector in the Philippines, and I'm from Salinas, California. So my parents are farm workers when they immigrated here. And it was like a major that my family could like personally connect to and understand. And something I also really enjoyed because I grew up with it. But I do wish that I was introduced to ethnic studies earlier. I think ethnic studies really made me feel validated in like being an animal science major or being a woman of color in STEM. Because sometimes it feels like, oh, like I feel sometimes I felt like, oh, I don't know what's going on. But ethnic studies like help me understand like systematic barriers from like certain communities face, and like understanding like community resilience for people to come into college and stuff like that. So I wish I was introduced to it a little earlier, and ethnic studies helped me reaffirm my purpose in animal science. So right now I'm really interested in like reproduction and assisted reproduction, and like there are facets where both majors can intersect. I know sometimes it kind of seems like they seem like two very different things, but they're like ethnic studies can be implemented everywhere. So yeah.
In my sophomore year of high school, I applied to a business program at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. It was a summer program for high schoolers, and I got in, and that program was like the pivoting point, the changing point in my life. I was able to do like fake Shark Tank project, and I also did a consulting project, and it was amazing. It just fueled my passion for business. But when I finally got to college, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Starting like my intro classes, it was kind of hard for me to get passionate about something that wasn't what I imagined it out to be. So until I found out about the HR concentration, Cal Poly really in business really pushes accounting, finance, marketing. But when I found out about the HR concentration, like I knew it was for me, because I really wanted to help people find their place, especially like in their job. I want to help people find a job that they love. I want to help people like if find their course of life, like if this is not for you, like where should you go? And if I were to do it all over again, I would pick business without a doubt. With HR, I'm also thinking of minoring in psychology because they work out with each other very well. And I just love helping people and working with people, and business allows me to do that, especially with HR.
Thanks, y'all, for sharing just your really diverse experience from your different majors. So the other thing I wanted to ask our student panelists, outside of your academics, and some of you spoke to EOP, but we've also had questions in the chat about what other resources or communities have been essential to your ability to navigate Cal Poly.
So there have been a lot of resources that have been like foundational for my success as a student. A little bit of background about me: I work in the cross-cultural centers as a student assistant. My second year, I worked in the Multicultural Center, and then as a third year, I work in the Gender Equity Center. And I think coming in like as a first gen student, I knew, and like also supporting myself through college, I needed a job. And so I'm just really thankful that my job was also where I was able to feel supported and make a lot of connections. A little bit about the cross-cultural centers: they host different programs and events for all students, but like really targeting certain students from particular communities, i.e. like we have the Pride Center, Men and Masculinities programs, the Black Academic Excellence Center, which has also been a really important resource for me. The Black population on campus is like less than 1%, so that's really, really bad. And as a Black student on campus, it's been difficult, but like clubs like the Black Student Union and BASE, Black Academic Excellence Center for short, have been really huge for my success. And also within the cross-cultural centers BASE, they have free printing, microwaves, they have TVs, libraries so you can check out books, and it's also just a great place to hang out, and free printing as well. The Multicultural Center has a mini kitchen. So like they offer within these certain programs, they have a lot of different amenities to them, and I think that's been really important, and they kind of function as a multi-purpose space. Another resource that's been very important for me is the Dean of Students. Particularly, I'm going to shout out Blanca. She's not here, but she's like counselor. She's not a counselor, but she works in the Dean of Students, and she's put me in contact with resources such as the Counseling Center, which has been really important because like I think all students should take advantage of being able to go see counseling, especially while it's free at Cal Poly. But they've also connected me with the Cal Poly Cares grant, which is a grant that you can apply to up to $2,000 if like, I know like say your laptop breaks, you can apply and they'll give you the money for a new laptop, or you need emergency housing or whatever it may be, you can apply, and if you're accepted, they'll give you that money, which I've gotten before, and it's been really, really helpful. I think mostly those are the major resources. I'll let other people touch where I haven't hit yet.
So a huge resource for me has been the multicultural business program. My first year coming into college, we do have like that program has a mentorship program where I was paired with a third year. Her name is Valerie. I still talk to her to this day, and she helped me navigate the business curriculum and what classes to take. She recommended me professors, and also about just the whole Cal Poly life, what to do outside of Cal Poly. So if you are a business student, check out the multicultural business program.
So for me, especially like during my first year, I visited the financial aid office a lot. I went to drop-in hours. If you go to their website, like you can call and email them and find their contact information. But when I was there, every time like a new quarter or every time like we transitioned to a new quarter, I would always like ask questions. And I also came from a partner high school, so I had questions about like a partner high school scholarship. Which is only offered like your first year at Cal Poly. So I like wanted some clarification on that. But also the cultural community was one of the greatest resources that I had. It's amazing to see what students can cultivate when they like see and feel a need within like their own communities. And you're interacting with like a very diverse group of students, and they all have different reaches and different connections. And there were multiple times in my first year where I mentioned like I was an animal science major, and someone was like, "Oh, I know an animal science major," and referred me to them, and that person became one of my good friends while in college until they graduated. And also, like Maya, I'm a student assistant for the cross-cultural centers at the Multicultural Center, and it's just great seeing what students put on for each other, and really cultivating things that they want to see and making things happen. And I also used Cal Poly Cares to take summer school last summer quarter to help pay for that. But yeah.
For me, I think the most like supportive resources that were there were the like culture clubs. I know coming from like a diverse hometown and coming to a predominantly white institution can be intimidating not to lose a part of yourself and to also like hold on to your traditions and your culture. We have like the Filipino Culture Exchange. We have the like Chinese Student Association, and anybody can join. You don't have to be from that particular ethnic group, and everybody welcomes you with open arms. And it's they also host like cultural events. So we have, I think, Culture Fest and Lantern Festival, which is they all come together, sell food, they do dances, performances, and that's really a time for me to feel like, oh, I do belong here and I have people here that are like me or that have similar like experiences that I do of feeling like I don't belong, so I'm not alone. So definitely culture clubs are amazing.
Yeah, so being a first generation student and coming from a community that is diverse in different ethnicities, and coming into Cal Poly where it's predominantly white, it is really intimidating for some people. And I know being on top of that, being a transfer student, not having a sort of like a clique or a group that you can like go to already, other than like the WOW leaders and your WOW group. WOW is a week of welcome, and basically during this week you're introduced to other current Cal Poly students and incoming students, and so you sort of get this like depending on like the people around you, you make friends. And so other than that little specific group, I really didn't know anybody. It was a little challenging, and I think coming into Cal Poly, a group that really helped me out was the students and the faculty at the Dream Center. And so what the Dream Center is, it's a center that provides resources, provides advocacy for students of all status, whether they have DACA, whether they don't have DACA, whether they're part of a mixed status family. They really helped me out. They have a really great atmosphere when you walk in. They provided me with multiple resources. There was a time where I didn't know financially. I was struggling, and so I didn't know where to go or what steps to take. And by speaking to the director at the student center, she connected me to resources, and in the end I ended up applying to multiple scholarships, and financially I was doing well. And so not only that, they provided advocacy, and for any allies out there, they also do trainings on Docu Allies training. And so what this does, this helps educate you and helps bring awareness and in regards to what the different how do I say it? Not labels, but different ways in which citizenship affects students and different statuses. And so not only did I find great resources there, I also made great friends, and they had access to free printing, they had access to computers, and like I said, they had a great area just for you to study and make friends. And this really helped me out. This really helped me connect with other people and not feel so isolated in a way. To the point that I am now, this is my second quarter interning at the Dream Center. So if any of you incoming students need help, you can go ahead and ask me, or I can redirect you to any resources that we might have. But yes, I definitely think it is difficult, especially for students that are transferring from other places, and even just freshmen too, from different places. It is difficult to feel like you sort of belong, but it is possible. You just it's just challenging.
Can I add something? Sorry, it'll be real quick. I know we're on a time schedule. I know we already talked a little bit about EOP, and I don't know if it was answered in the chat what EOP was, but or some of the resources they have, but I also wanted to bring up TRIO, which from my understanding, Nuri, I don't know if you want to elaborate, like is basically kind of EOP, but if you miss basically when to apply if you were never told about that opportunity, they function kind of similarly. Is that like safe to say?
Yeah, TRIO, we like to call them as our sister program. They're just funded slightly different. TRIO also works with first generation low income and students with disabilities. And they also offer services such as mentoring. They have a program coordinator and the director that meet with students that provide academic, personal, and career support. And they offer a lot of great events throughout the year as well. And we partner with TRIO too. So a lot of our students, since EOP has a living learning community component, we also partner with TRIO and the living learning community.
EOP also has free tutoring for like the GE classes or some of the like up to the 200 levels. And I think even above maybe. So I've used those tutoring resources, and both TRIO and EOP are amazing programs that you should definitely look into wherever you go, but especially if you come to Cal Poly.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you, Nuri, for adding that. I'd also like to add that even if you don't have EOP or you're not a TRIO student, that a lot of our different cultural resource centers working with faculty and academic advisors to host drop-in academic advising hours and drop-in math tutoring. So those would be our Multicultural Center, our Gender Equity Center, our Pride Center, Dream Center, and the Black Academic Excellence Center. And those are all resources that are free to you and don't require an application or registration. So you can access those resources. We've been getting some questions about what other things can I do if I'm not an EOP and TRIO, and know that there are many other resources that are there for you. And we all work intersectionally as campus partners. So the next question that I want to ask our panelists is if you can talk a little bit about how your parents, guardians, or supporters supported you while you were here. What was that like for you? And maybe even how you cultivated that sort of essential support.
For me, like going into college, I remember I was like learning how to navigate financial aid, and my parents like had no idea what that was. So they were just very supportive and asking like, do you need me to sign anything? Like, do you like want to read something to me? So like I can know what I'm signing off on, stuff like that. And just like being supportive and trusting me that along the, like through the process, and like giving me like emotional and like spiritual support, even though they can't like support me financially all the time. And yeah, just trying to be really understanding.
I'd like to add on what Angelica said. I know it's like very hard for us to decipher and like read about like what financial aid is asking us to do. I remember when applying, like I was scared because like I don't know what they're asking for me to do. But luckily, we do have some financial aid counselors that will work with you and your parents. I remember my dad, who speaks Spanish, he didn't know like why were they asking for like these things, and it kind of makes you kind of paranoid. But Delfina, which is one of the amazing counselors that works with financial aid, she was able to reach out to my dad, and she speaks Spanish, so she was able to explain why they need it, what it's asking for, and stuff like that. So.
I'm a Cal Poly Scholar, so that's a program for high-achieving, low-income students. Right away, we have a liaison to the Cal Poly Scholar Office from the Financial Aid Office. I think her name is Jessica Todd, and she helps people, like, especially being a Cal Poly Scholar with your, you get a scholarship, and she helps you, like, how do you keep being eligible for it? How do you find other scholarships? How do you pay for it? Helping you navigate the general Cal Poly scholarship application. Once you become a Cal Poly student, you will have an opportunity to like send out an application in your like portal and be available for all the scholarship opportunities that are applicable to you. It can be challenging. I remember when I knew college was expensive, but I didn't know how expensive it was going to be until I looked at my financial aid packet and realized I was short a couple $1,000s. But it being from a single parent household and whose parent is retired and on disability, it was challenging thinking about how could I even go to college. But the Cal Poly Scholars program definitely helped me with also the donors and the scholarships I've also won. And Cal Poly definitely has like a scholarship website that offers outside opportunities, list them, and you definitely should apply. I remember in high school, I applied to like 50 scholarships and I won like 3. So apply for more than you can, do everything you can, because it sucks that it's gonna take a little bit more work from being a first generation student, especially if you're low income. It takes a lot more work to pave your way through college. But I think it really shows to develop your character and your resiliency and your persistence, and also makes you value higher education even more.
I think being part of a first generation student, sorry for the noise in the back. There's a lot of misunderstanding in regards to accessing all your information, especially from your parents. I know my parents are very skeptical and very just, why do you need to know this information? Why, what does this mean? So they were very scared in regards to where that information was going to go to and where the money was going to come from. So in a way, I sort of felt kind of scared to reach out to them. And luckily, I was working a full-time job. And so part of my my upbringing, I was always taught to not really ask for help. And I think it also has to do with our culture. Don't ask your parents for help, because there's a lot of sacrifices out there that they're already doing. And so what I had to do is I had to take matters into my own hands. And part of transferring from Cal Poly and learning to find those resources, I also, like I said, I had to work and I had to pay off my the rest of my tuition that wasn't covered by financial aid. And so there was that sort of absence from your parents and your peers, but just your parents and direct family members. But there is a lot of support at the school. I know I went to the financial aid services and office, and I talked to Delphina, as Luis mentioned, and she helped me out a lot. She really did. She also spoke to my parents and she explained to them a lot of things like, oh, this is why we need this is why we need that. And so in a way, it taught me some self-growth, and also reminding yourself that you are not alone. Please speak out to faculty, to your professors, to anybody who you really feel like you have a connection to. I've spoken with Bea, who's on here. I've spoken with Nuri, who's also on here, and they've helped me out. They've supported, and so it is challenging. At least for me, it was challenging, but continuing to reminding yourself that you do have support. It might not be so understood by your parents, but there are a lot of other students who are facing the same settings that you are, and just reaching out for people and doing the same thing for other students. I think that helped me out a lot. And so, yeah, that's keeping that friendship, keeping that kinship between people.
Everyone already hit on everything. I think on to the next question, we're good.
Thanks, y'all. I'm also going to invite Nuri and Darwin. Jamie, I think, had to step out to another meeting to answer this last question before I leave the rest of the time for some Q&A. So my last question for all of the panelists is, if you could go back in time and speak to your younger self, what is one thing that you would say to yourself that you wish you would have known? Or what is something that you would like our future Mustangs to know about being successful and cultivating community at Cal Poly?
Am I
So
supposed
one
to
thing, go ahead, Darwin.
No, I didn't know if I was supposed to go or not. You go ahead, Luis.
All right, I'll keep this very brief. One thing that I did learn coming to Cal Poly, and something that I would tell my younger self, and for y'all to keep in mind coming into Cal Poly, is don't get comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's where you learn the most.
This is gonna sound cheesy, but I would tell myself that it'll be okay, and you'll find a way to like balance like your passions and like the work that you want to do and like find. And also, I would tell myself that students make it happen, and like just in regards to the question about cultivating community, like just being around people, you might not realize you're like cultivating community, but you are, and it's really amazing. And like what other people have mentioned, like reach out, tell your professors if you're struggling, because they might not know what you're going through. So like let them know that that you need some support from them. And if a teacher might not be that supportive, like maybe reaching out to another teacher that you trust, and like finding a way to work that out. Yeah.
I think one thing that if I could tell myself at a younger age, or at least during high school or the beginning of Cal Poly, do not underestimate yourself. You ended up here at Cal Poly because of the hard work you've done. Don't compare yourself to other students, because in the end, we're all here at Cal Poly. It's a great school. It's one of the top schools you got into, and just don't underestimate yourself and really just enjoy the experience, because before you know it, it's almost done.
Kind of might be a little repetitive, but imposter syndrome is real, and I would tell myself that I deserve to be here and I belong here, even though it might not feel like it. And something else I would say is don't get discouraged by comparing yourself to other people, because you never know the opportunities or resources they have that you might not have, and vice versa. And then I would also say that, don't get, some people feel as if they're failures because, like, I know as I was a STEM major, like GPA was really low, and I would talk to all my friends like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I had to retake this class, or like so on and so forth. And a lot of people doubt themselves and their abilities. And these classes are like not easy. The subject matter, regardless of major, like college is a different game. And don't let how you do in undergrad or in a certain classes that are difficult, like affect how you think you will succeed in graduate school and beyond, because that's not always the most accurate measure. And just remember why you're here. You're here to get a good education, and that's what you're going to do. And Cal Poly has a lot of amazing opportunities. You just have to kind of go out and search for them. Other times not. Sometimes they're just there, really easy.
I think a big part of cultivating a community is definitely getting a good support system. When I made new friends, every time I move somewhere, make new friends in a new environment, you always have to remember the quote, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. So look at yourself and look at your friends and see if those are the type of people you see a bright future. Like, are they gonna do like things that you wanna do? They obviously, your friends will hold the same values as you, or should hold the same values as you. When you get to college, a lot of people can get obsessed with this idea of, I need to reinvent myself. It's a time to start over. I need to become who I want to be. And are you becoming who you are, or are you becoming something that you're just imagining that you want to be, but not really who you are? So please remember that, to surround yourself with good people and to build a community that is helpful instead of hurtful. And that like 10 years down the road, if you don't talk to like those people or your community anymore, that you were proud to be a part of it once.
Do any of the staff want to share?
Yeah, what was the question?
Yeah, either maybe what's one thing that you would like our future Mustangs to know about cultivating community at Cal Poly, or something that you would go back and tell your younger self?
Nuri, did you want to go first?
Sure. I would definitely tell my younger self, don't be embarrassed or ashamed to reach out for help. Everybody at the university is there, willing to help you out. So utilize everyone as a resource. As somebody who's changed majors and careers, it's difficult to know exactly what you want to do at a young age. So, utilize career services, utilize your counselors, your advisors to help you navigate where you see yourself going in the future. And it's okay if you don't know what it is exactly that you want to do, and know that that part of your life is only temporary, the unknown.
Yeah, just kind of add to what everybody has shared. I would say the thing that I would tell my younger self, I would say that it's okay to say no. It's okay to spend time with yourself, reflecting on your experiences in college. I think there is this fear of missing out that a lot of new students feel when they come to college, and they feel like they need to be part of everything. And they keep saying yes because they want to fit in. They want to have a sense of community for themselves. And I totally understand the need for that, but it's all about balance. You don't want to prioritize socialization and cultivating relationships more than your academic responsibilities, because I have seen students not get off to a good start academically because they prioritize that too much. And yeah, just be comfortable with spending some alone time with yourself. I think for me, when I reflect on my college experiences, I was always with somebody. Being a student athlete, I was always with my teammates. If I wasn't with them, I was always with another group, and I never really, took the time to just spend alone time with myself. And I did a lot more of that after I graduated. But that's probably one of the things I would tell myself, at least from the start, that it's okay to say no. I don't have to be part of everything. And I don't have to be part of every single group.
Thank you. I guess my main thing that I would share with students, both in cultivating Cal Poly and what I would tell my younger self, is definitely that you belong here. And something that I tell all of my student assistants, so many of you hear this at the end of all staff meetings, is that always remember that you're here with purpose, on purpose. So that was the facilitated questions that I have for you all, but I wanted to follow up on some questions that we got in the chat. One reoccurring question was, how easy is it to find employment on or off campus? And if there are jobs for students who don't have experience. Anyone can jump in on this. I can just add, as someone who hires many student assistants within all of our centers, we hire a diverse group of students. We've hired first-year students with minimal experience, but we also look at all of the things that make up your leadership experience, even in high school and cultural clubs, and just all of your cultural capital as strong assets and student leaders, and just seeing students develop in their roles has been really exciting for me. So as someone who hires, we don't necessarily look for a lot of work experience. We look at your character, your leadership qualities, your willingness to learn, and your passion for the work. So those are some of the things that we look for, but I don't know if any of the students or Nuri or Dawn want to add around student employment opportunities.
Yeah, we offer a lot of great employment opportunities. We actually have Luis Villablanco there. He was hanging around our offices. He likes to hang around EOP land. So he was always helping us with our events. And so we had an opening for him and just pretty much asked like, hey, you want to work for us? So the opportunity presented for itself, and we're so happy to have Luis. And we also, through our Summer Institute program, we hire learning assistants, which are mentors to the incoming students. And it's a great way for students to build those leadership skills and build their resume as well. So we definitely have opportunities for our students who have minimal experience aside from high school.
And the thing I would add to that is, I definitely understand the need to kind of work as you go along, but I would encourage you to at least give yourself 1 quarter to get used to being a college student and getting used to the academic rigor at Cal Poly and navigating yourself around campus. Because I have seen, students suffer academically because, they're working too many hours, or they just weren't expecting the workload to be so difficult and managing that as well as their jobs. So there are a lot of different departments across campus that are hiring student assistants for varying roles. I know the Mustangs Success Center hires student assistants. We just actually went through a recruitment process before the COVID-19 broke out. You can also reach out to financial aid and inquire about work study. And then you can also, through your portal, go look at Mustang jobs, because there's a lot of jobs available through the Avenue, a lot of different places that students eat on campus are hire students all the time. But still, I would recommend that you give yourself time to get used to being a college student. Get used to the quarter system, get used to the academic rigors, know where your academic support resources are. before you start adding things to your plate, because it's much easier to add things as you go and feel more comfortable than it is to put too much on your plate at the beginning and then try to take it off afterwards.
Thank you. We are just at time here, but we do want to put up a slide for resources that were mentioned here today with their website, phone numbers. On many of those websites, you can find the contact information for many of the staff and even some of the students. I think most of them are student leaders in various centers that are listed, so you can find their contact info as well. Reach out to us, follow up with questions that you may have. Again, we're here to support you. We want to see you join our Cal Poly Mustang family and community in the fall, and also see you succeed and see you through to that graduation date. It's really important for us, especially for our first generation community, that it's not just about getting you here, but it's about seeing you achieve that goal and get that degree. So we're really excited for you. Thank you for joining us, and please take a few minutes to jot down any of that information. If any of the students are comfortable, feel free to drop your email in the chat for folks. If any of the prospective students want to reach out to you directly, we'll leave the session open for a couple minutes. And thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to our incredible panelists. You were amazing.
Yeah, I would say if you go to the Success account and you click on Meet the Staff, you can find my personal email there, and you can email me directly.
Also, I know our Instagram pages for EOP and the cross-cultural centers have a bubble stories that offer like questions for you guys to ask, or y'all, I'm sorry, for y'all to go ask. So go ahead, make sure to follow us, and if you have any more remaining questions, make sure to send those questions to us.
All right, y'all, I'm gonna go.